All right, guys. I know it's kind of like random that I'm going live, but there was some things on my mind, and when I go live, it's because I usually have something to say, you know. Um, so what's ironic with this whole situation that we face ourselves with? E- there was actually such a vitriol for the passport bros, right? And it's crazy that this same vitriol is now coming back in twofold towards women traveling, you know, because TikTok is, I want to call a misandrous platform. It's used for misandry, right? That's what TikTok does. I mean, the thing is about TikTok is that TikTok will not check what women say, right? But they will check what a man says. They will ban what a man says. They will, as a matter of fact, shadow ban the man's channel in order to, let's just say, get their message across, right? That's what we know them to do, right? And so one thing I want to say is this. You know what's ironic about this is that these same people, were calling for um, the deletion of the passport bros. They were actually like happy, seeing them getting set up in Colombia, seeing these things happen. They were actually happy with that happening. Um, they, d- you know, it, it's this this just goes to show you that that just goes to show you how much of a hatred they really have towards men. Now, the one thing is the one thing I want to say is that is that these same women who call for the deletion of passport bros and stuff like that are the same women who are saying now, we need to protect our black women overseas because they're getting deleted. And the thing is that um you have to ask yourself, like, why in the first place would you go to a country like that? Like, why would you go to a country like the Gambia? Now we know why British women did it, because obviously they were looking for boy toys. We know that. We know that's been actually going on for quite a while now. So it's not a really big deal per se, because yeah, I mean, everybody knows what's going on. I think the Gambia actually is trying to kind of stop it, kind of trying to do something else, to have tourism, and is trying not to have the um the actual tourism now. you know they're trying to change that up. So the thing is that the reason why I'm making this video is, number one, to show that the Pan-Africanism in which these people present you with is nothing more than imperialism. Okay. And I'm going to show you why it is imperialism, and why, if you are a son of the soil, indeed, that African nationalism is your the way to go. That Pan Africanism that they present is not the way to go. Okay. Um, because of the simple fact that uh, these kind of things, these kind of ideas are nothing more. The Pan Africanist idea is nothing more than just a way to try to gain control and trying to change the order of the day on the continent in a way that is not going to favor the native of that continent. Okay, that's what's happening, and that's what they're trying to do. And I'm going to show you a few videos of these things happening. um you know uh and we're going to get into it, and I'm going to break it down in terms of commentary. Well, one thing I do want to do real quick is I want to read something that was written that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in regards to, you know, that came to mind, you know. And the crazy thing is about this surah, this surah that I'm reading from, is that the name of the surah is actually called the spoils of war, Surah al-Anfal. And so basically what that sort of says, you know, uh it says, and this sort of is in regards to, and this is for my Muslims, basically. This sort of is in regards to when the Meccans were actually trying to kill, or I should say delete, the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu salam from Mecca. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserved him, saved him, and he found a way out. Now it says in Surah, um, and this is Surah number 8, verse ayat 30. It says, Wa'id yamkuru bika ladina kafuru li you you li yuti batuka awo yaktuluka awo yakrijuka wa yamkurun wa yamkurullahu wallahu khairul makirin. And so what that means is that, and recall when the disbelievers were conspiring against you to hold you as a captive, or to kill you or expel you. They were planning, and Allah was planning, and Allah is the best of planners. So when you look at this in full scope, the thing is that when you look at the whole dynamic and the whole picture of everything that we're dealing with, you have to understand something, that although these women would not be happy with you, because they've already put in their mind that you're not worth the time, or you're not, you're not the type, you're not their type, although they don't want to be with you, they don't want to see you with anybody else. Okay. And so that's why they're so excited that, unfortunately, there's been a couple of incidents where, people have gotten deleted um, on their holidays, basically, or on their travels. Couple of passport pros, and mostly it's happened in Colombia. But that's the thing. It's only happening in one place, it's only happening in Colombia. You're not hearing this widespread thing that, oh, no matter where these passport bros go, they're getting deleted. You're just hearing it happening in Colombia. You know what I mean? You're not hearing it happening anywhere else. So that's the thing number one, right? Now, another thing about this is that if this was such a widespread thing, or if it was such a dangerous thing, you would have like you would basically have travel warning or travel advisories basically. But the last time I checked, I don't even think there's a travel advisory to Colombia. But guess what? There's a travel advisory to Jamaica for the women who go there to do what they do, right? Um and going back to the Gambia, the thing is that I think in terms of these women getting deleted, there was only one arrest I think made for these in regards to these women being deleted. The fact that there's only one arrest being made goes to show you that the authorities are not really vested in finding out what's going on. Now, another telling story, this is a telling story too, is that I follow a couple of Gambian I follow a couple of Gambian um i- Instagram pages, that gave you the news and things like that. There's actually there's actually nothing that actually shows um that that this is happening. You know, that it doesn't show that, hey, these incidents happen, they're getting deleted. It's not showing anything like that. Okay. So the fact that it's not showing anything like that goes to show you how high the priority is in terms of, you know, um these women getting justice. It's sad to say it, but it's not really that high of a priority, you know. That's just the bottom line. Now, another thing about that is that we're only hearing one side of the story. We're only hearing that the women are getting deleted. We're not hearing why they're getting deleted. We're not hearing what they're doing to get deleted. Okay. We're only hearing a one sided narrative. When you hear about the whole thing with the passport bros getting deleted, it's you're hearing the fact that they're just getting set up. That's what's happening. They're getting set up. It's it's too good. It's like they are using the dating apps. They are doing all of those things. And so that's what's happening. Okay. Now the thing is, okay, here's the thing. When it comes to like Pan-Africanism and whatnot, um, you will unfortunately find that the Pan-Africanism that Aframs want to push, and that also these I want to say I want to call them these these watered down Africans, they they basically okay, they basically are trying to cater to the narrative basically. That's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to think on their own accord, and sometimes unfortunately with a lot of Africans it's a grift, you know. Unfortunately, that's what I want to say. It's unfortunate. But that's the thing. So, um, so yeah, the thing is about it is that um some people will still push this narrative, and unfortunately will not acknowledge the differences that we do have. I mean, even in nationalist groups, there were differences within the groups. If you look at any nationalist groups, yes, they got on one accord. Their accord was independence, from the colonial powers, but there was still, okay, there was still differences. Okay, for example, in Angola, um, eh, they, some people didn't want mixed race people in the party, in the independence party. Some people just wanted just pure African in the party. Okay. And then that's another thing about eh, these pan-Africanists is that they can't look past color. Whereas when you look at let's say Amilcar Cabral, Augustine Neto, Marcelino dos Santos, uh, Thomas Sankara. When you look at all these figures, Patrice Lumumba, they were able to look past color because they were welcomed in the places that color did not, th- that ideology rather than color was the most important thing. So, like for example, of course, all of the major independence movements had help from uh, Russia, the former USSR. Some had help from China, and some, of course, had help from Cuba as well. But granted, there's a big African descendant population in Cuba, so it's no surprise that they did help them. Now, with that being said, right? With this being said, people, especially the Pan Africanists, they just want to go to color itself and nothing else. Okay. To a certain point that, and then after the color, they want to impose, they basically want to impose themselves on, hey, you know, not only do we want to impose ourselves on the color, but we also want to impose ourselves on your religion too. And be like, nah, you can't practice that, man. You can't do um you can't be practicing Islam. You can't be practicing Christianity, you know? That's what they're going to say, right? They're like, you need to go back to your spirituality. But the thing is that um in terms of the Islam basically magnified the spirituality and organized the spirituality. That's the whole thing. So that's why it's kind of pointless when they're saying, "Oh, you guys need to do this, you need to do that." Okay? It makes no sense. They shouldn't have anything to say about that. Because here's the reason why they shouldn't have anything to say about that. They don't even practice their own spirituality at the house. on the home base. So you're talking, telling people, oh, you need to practice spirituality, but it's like, bro, are you even practicing a system at your own place? Before you try to tell someone else and dictate, oh, you need to practice. So that's another thing that we have to keep in mind when we're, you know, when we're when we're looking at this situation, when we're examining this situation. These are a few things we have to look into, you know. That's the thing. Now, I'm gonna just go ahead and play a couple of videos and just break them down, and just also just break down. I'm gonna break down African nationalism through these videos. And I also am going to break down why they're getting deleted. Okay. Why this is happening. Okay, just give me a second. Let me share my screen. Okay, let's see this.
when African diaspora, is trying to come home and facing these kinds of tragedies. In under 2 years already, we are looking at six sisters who've lost their lives, who've been removed. I want to look at a brother and a sister, go black to Africa, the families who've lost loved ones.
Of, and most will say that there's so many.
In Africa,
And this has given what's going on transpired here. Why do African Americans choose to go to Africa?
So, when you look at the women who choose to go to these places alone, they usually fit a certain like aesthetic. They just, you know, i- 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 I hate to say it, but and maybe this is me judging, but I'm pretty sure that they have a past in which, um, you know, a vitriol for black men, and just a vitriol for a man who, in general, um, was a part of their daily operation. So this is why I'm looking at this and looking to see, hey, what's really going on here? She fits that archetype, but let's listen to what she has to say and then I'll come back.
Africa, knowing that there's so many things that have transpired here that we're unaware of. And most will say that there's this spiritual connection. I get a lot of comments where people have really romanticized.
Okay, so when they say it's a spiritual connection, what they mean by that is they're trying to spread their demonic energy there, because you have to understand something. These women don't believe in God. Okay. That's the one thing they don't believe in. They don't believe in God. They have decided that they are God, the old Dubilam and Dalek, you know. But let's continue.
Things, like what's going on in my personal life. And I'm like, I'm living a real life just like anyone else. And the most difficult thing that I've been trying to do since I arrived was to erect a business. And this has given me a full blown view on what it means to be a woman in Ghana in particular. And there's so many differences that we experience, especially within the realm of wanting to conduct business, because the American woman is looking, she's coming with an independent mind state. And unfortunately, for years, there's been this propaganda that's toxic.
It's not an independent mind state, it's a masculine mind state. Because, for example, um, th- for example, Here's the thing. There's women in there's African women right now who have businesses. Okay? So there's no problem with a woman opening a business in Africa. You know, be it whatever she does. I mean, you'll find that most women have some kind of business. Maybe I'll share a link where they're hawking some goods or something like that, or maybe they get together and you know, open a business. So it's not about it's not about independent mind state being toxic. It's about your masculine mind state being toxic. It's about you thinking you can have it your way without doing the red tape. That's what's toxic. Okay. And I'm pretty sure, you know, oh, she seems all docile right now and stuff like that. How much you want to bet she was probably like getting at these people, giving them hell and things like that? But let me go ahead and play the rest.
to think independently, but the universe put her in that position for a reason.
No, she put herself in that uh position for the reason. You hear how they use all these semantic terms like the universe, the manifesting, and things like that. No, she put herself in there for a reason because of feminism, okay, and the fact that basically for whatever reason she decided that she wanted to work. And in addition to that, she decided that she wanted wages for menial work for things that don't really have any value um to to basically I want to say to get high salaries. So guess what we suffer with? Inflation. Okay? But let's continue.
So, anyways, when you have an American woman that's like dealt with trauma and have a historical background of many different things, and she enters into a new
You know what that trauma is, right? You know what that trauma is? That's the trauma that she dealt with, okay? So again, you know, it's the same story again, okay? They put themselves through what they're going through, okay? So, of course, they want a Thug Max guy. After the Thug Max guy does them in, what do? Oh, I want to go to Africa. Oh, I want to heal in Africa. It's the same thing all the time, okay? It's just it's the same play. That's all I'm saying. All right. Most of the trauma they put themselves through is self-inflicted, by the way. I'm just letting you know.
new environment, she'll have to adapt to this new one. And the new one doesn't necessarily want to adapt to her. So,
Translation. I want things my way in Africa, but Africa is not going to let me have things my way.
many times we often kind of, well, we're kind of like overlooking the difficulties that we do have when we're here. Not only that, are we dealing with that dynamic? There's so
No ring on the finger either, as you see. No, as the woman says, sprinkle, sprinkle. You know, she's single, single.
many like things pertaining to like social, meaning that most men don't want a woman saying things that are strong and or truthful and or
Most men don't want women saying things that are disrespectful, that basically you're trying to like test his manhood. That's what they don't want. Okay. So please stop trying to sugarcoat it, woman. We see right through it. Okay.
authoritative, and so most American women are coming with that empowered concept of being. We also have
It's not even empowered, it's disrespectful. That's the thing. It's disrespectful.
this thing where People see Ghanaian men in particular, African men, as family men, not taking into consideration that there's a lot of things that come with that. Africa is not this promised land like everyone thinks it is, or the propaganda that's been spewed. I will speak my truth. When you come into an environment like
Okay, the last time I checked, bro, um, Africa in the news is always bashed upon. It's never looked at as a promised land. Okay, in Western media, so I don't know where she's getting this from. I don't know if it was an African who sold her this dream or something like that. But when you look in Western media, um, y- there is not um something that says that Africa is a promised land. You never hear about it in a good light in Western media for the most part.
this, all of your learnings can come tumbling down, can completely dissolve, can completely disintegrate because it's not an environment where you can cultivate all of that empowerment and that strength. And I think to myself, is that a good thing? If something is good to you or good for you, should it bring you to tears to where you feel emptiness and unhappiness, to where you feel disconnected with
Well, you are going to be disconnected. Okay, let's be honest. You're in an alien. You're in like an alien space. Okay, you came there with that boss babe mentality, and Ghana is not playing that. Ghana was nice enough to actually open the door for you to go there, but you wore out your welcome. And the way you wore out your welcome is you thought that, what flies in America, it's gonna fly over there. Because people may be in like maybe a, you know, monetarily worse situation. But one thing that for the most part that they're not going to do is compromise their dignity to appease you.
without support, where you feel more foreign than when you first arrived. So I can relate to these things because guess what? I was born in America too. You have to be wise about your decisions as to why you're coming here. In all honesty, what happens to the American woman when she comes here, who she was, who she learned to be in her home country, everything that her parents taught her, her guardians taught her to empower her, to uplift her, to
Or lack thereof.
strengthen her through her toxic experiences, they are
The toxic experiences she put herself through.
completely almost shattered when she comes into an environment like this because the women do not have the empowerment that your ancestors fought for.
What? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What this translates to is that the women are just not disrespectful. That's what that translates to. She said that the women don't have empowerment. Isn't the president of Tanzania a woman? Aren't members of Ibrahim Traore, shout outs to him. Aren't they what you would call it? I want to say um aren't there women in his cabinet?
They are just now scratching at the surface.
So what she is saying is that these women haven't been exposed to fourth wave, third wave, first wave, no, second wave feminism. That's what she's saying in essence. That's what she is saying.
My sister here is very strong about the role or the place of the black woman who's coming from the Western world.
Yeah, stop sucking her clit, please. Okay, let's see. Let's see something.
by this environment that has been
Mm.
so
And they were family out of who are here with their husbands and the importance. Give me because I have a heart and think you can.
at the end of this.
I'm just gonna say it. This strong black woman attitude has got to stop. It's gotta stop.
It's not going to stop, bro. Okay? It's already programmed into them. They don't know how to deprogram themselves. It's not going to stop. Okay? This thing is not going to stop. But continue on.
This whole mindset of thinking that you can just run around and skedaddle around the world and think you can do and act or say or just be without any threat against you is a poor judgment on oneself. Now, forgive me because I have a heart and a care for my sisters that I might sound like a little bit um, unsensitive for people's desires to go travel the world by themselves. Shout out to the women who have seen the importance, who understands the difference in the makeup of a male and a female. Shout out to my sisters who are here with their husbands in Africa,
It's not many of them.
who I have heard many of stories. Some weren't on board with their husbands' uh, desires to come to the motherland, or having a dream to come and start afresh, or remove him and his family out of a situation that he saw that was not good for them. But the sisters decided they were going to stand by their man, and they were going to uh, hold down their position in the network of a family and be there. Peace and blessings to you, sisters out there. That is a strong black woman. Nothing against my single sisters, not at all. Because, like I said, I got single nieces. I got one that's married. I got one sister who's married, one who is single. I have other family members and women that are single. My two daughters, they're single. But in this 57 years of understanding the purpose of a man and a woman, I get it. A woman stands to be a victim when she has no accountability, or let's just say, no covering, no headship.
Yeah, no leadership. But she doesn't want to be led. That's the thing. And so if she doesn't want to be led, what can you do? That's the thing. What can you do? Like if you want to be if she doesn't want to be led, right? There's nothing really you can do about that. Okay? She'll have to learn the hard way. Okay? S- even me, to the countries I've been to, I I had no issues, you know. I had no issues at all, right? So the reason why is because I went with an empty glass. Like the glass was empty when I went. I didn't go with like, okay, I have to do this, I have to impose this. I didn't go with that mentality. Okay, they go with that mentality.
She stands a greater risk.
mind about the, the West.
Right, let me see.
It runs government to take the law into their own hands. Africa is suggesting
Okay,
zip
so
it.
this is over. Now, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. And they may say, "Oh, these guys have white people's worship, or these guys have like something like that." They may say something to that effect, that, "Oh, these Africans, they worship white people, this, that, and the other. But how come, right? I have a question. Why is it that a Russian can adopt themselves into a black African country better than the Afram woman? Let's see. Okay, let's see.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
And being only one
in Nigeria, but when she talks, she doesn't talk like a Russian. She talks like a full Nigerian. She was talking to us about how she ended up in Nigeria, her acting career, and anything else that comes up during the conversation. So stick around and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. You're welcome back to Just for Women Africa. We have us, Katarina. Katarina, you're welcome to Just for Women Africa.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Katarina. All right, Katarina. My very first question for you is: you're Russian.
So I want you guys to, and excuse my language, what I'm about to say. Ramadan is coming up. I might as well get this out of the system. Notice one thing that she has different from Western women. She doesn't have a resting bitch face, okay? Like a lot of these Afram women have. You know, you can see that there's just a genuine face, okay? When you just look at it, okay? She doesn't have that resting bitch face. But let's hear what she has to say.
How did you end up in Nigeria being an actress?
I never knew I'm gonna move here. It was very spontaneous decision. I came here because I fell in love with Nigerian music, and dance always been my hobby. So one time I happened to be in a dance class, Afro dance class in Russia. So from that time, I started being very interested in African culture, dance, and music.
You know the difference between them and Afram woman. The Afram woman is not even interested in African culture. She's just interested in like pretty much just taking over shit. Just like the French were, just like the Portuguese were, just like the British were. That's why I have so much damn vitriol for them. My uncle, and my dad did were not killing other Africans for nothing. Okay, it's because those other Africans wanted to be on the side of Europeans. Okay, so I didn't want them to do it in vain. Okay, so this is my issue. This is why I have the vitriol I have. It's because these quiches come over with the same damn mindset as the French, as the British, as the damn Portuguese. Okay, just trying to bulldoze them, just trying to bulldoze their way in. I'm gonna play a lecture from one of my favorite diplomats, may Allah preserve him, Abdullahi Job, and he says some telling things. But let's hear this.
And that's how I found myself, with a big love and interest to Nigeria.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So did you just pack your bags and move to Nigeria, or you knew somebody already in Nigeria?
No, I wanted to get some dance classes. So my plan was to come for 1 month and to attend some dance classes from dancers I knew from Instagram. But when I went to my first dance class, agents saw me, they started giving me music video jobs. And from my first month, I started seeing myself on TV everywhere. And it was so inspiring. And I was always interested, to be an artist, actress, and to perform.
Now, I can't say that, I can't really, I'm not going to say that they were simping for her or something like that. But what I'm probably thinking is that she was a marketing thing. It's a good marketing thing that, like, yo, this is just my mentality. I could be wrong. But what I think this was that like um you know they see this woman, they're like Isabi, she make chop, you know, she'll make chop. I'm busting out with the pigeon, but basically they were probably thinking, okay, well, this woman is a marketing strategy to show that, hey, our country is like open for investment, open for different cultures. I don't necessarily think it was like a white savior complex. I don't think so, you know. But let's continue.
And I felt like here is a lot of opportunities for me, and I decided to try.
Wow, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, so you've been in Nigeria for approximately 4 years. What has your experience been in Nigeria so far? Is it like what you read in the newspapers about Nigerian 419 here and there and robberies here and there? What's been your experience?
You know, to be honest, I didn't have any stereotype thoughts about Nigeria because in my country, we don't really know much about Nigeria. So before I come, I didn't know about electricity problem. I didn't know what 419 is. Basically, I only knew, music and dance. That's what brought me here. So it was a lot of surprises. Let me put it this way. But honestly, I love my experience here. People have been so friendly and welcoming, and it's a
So, I'm pretty sure the people have been friendly and welcoming because she's been respectful. But, if you come with these kind of attitudes and this kind of entitlement, then you're going to get what you ask for. You're going to get what you seek.
beautiful country with a rich history, and it's very interesting for me to be here and to learn from you guys.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, you mentioned surprises. So, what was a couple of the surprises you came across when you came to Nigeria?
When I just came to Nigeria, I stayed in Lagos mainland. So, and it was like a first black country that I've been to, you know, and being only one white person, like I had a lot of attention that I wasn't like used to. You understand? Everybody was just looking at me so much, and I got so shy. I've never used to think that I'm a shy person, but at that moment, I was like extremely shy.
So,
So, she didn't react in the way that like American women would react. Like, what I mean? She didn't react in a way like, oh, what are you guys doing? You guys are creeps. This, that, and the other. Rah, 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 rah. She still had a sense of shyness, which a lot of them don't have anymore. I actually like a shy woman, but the problem is, shit, you're not going to find that here. But, like by the grace and the mercy of Allah, I'm thankful that I already have one foot out the door of this nut ass place, and I will go live from my new location when I am there.
I watched a couple of your videos online, and you speak the pidgin English so well. Who taught you pidgin English?
I can't say that I speak it so well, but they try. Just being here teaches me language, because you want to communicate with people, and not everybody speak perfect English. So, uh,
So here's the thing about that too. The average, the average, like the average American woman will not want to learn the language. Okay, like say for example, like let's just say Afram goes to Hausa land. Do you think that she would want to learn how to speak Hausa? Or she goes to Yoruba land. Do you think she's gonna want to learn how to pick up Yoruba? You have to ask yourself these questions. Okay, you really do.
body not be firewood.
No. But you know, be firewood. Na so. All right. So basically, that's how you picked up the pidgin English. All right.
Yeah, when I came to Nigeria, I was pretty sure about my English level, and I knew I can speak English, I can explain myself, I can understand people. I come out from airport, and I'll be like, what language these people are speaking, because it was so different. For the first 3 months, I couldn't understand anything, literally. But small, they come.
Definitely, small, you go get there. All right. Could you tell us about, you've been in Nigeria for 4 years. What's your favorite Nigerian food that you love so much?
Okay, it's a egusi with the white rice, and I like egg sauce with the boiled yam.
Oh, nice. You don't like pounded yam with F4?
I like pounded yam. No, I have allergy for the pepper, so I was very limited in things I can try, especially in Lagos.
Okay. And there'll be so much.
So she's been there for 4 years, okay, and it seems like she's chill. And judging by the looks of it, it looks like she has a pretty nice little setup, But let's look at what Mr. Abdullahi Job said about something that something that is very, very true. You know, may Allah bless him. May Allah preserve Mr. Ali Abdullahi Job. Listen to what he
What they
says.
want. I want to also recollect some thinking from President Mandela. He made it very clear. When we are in a relationship, your enemies are not our enemies. Your friends are not necessarily our friends.
And so that's one of the things that a Pan-Africanist will do. They'll try to make who they perceive your enemy or their enemy your enemy, and that may not necessarily be the case. For example, Russia ain't our enemy. Russia is our friend. China ain't our enemy. China is our friend. North Korea ain't our enemy. North Korea built statues in a lot of Africa. The biggest statue in Senegal was built by North Korea. But let's continue.
So to every country choose its friend or enemies based on its own consideration. So we want others to understand that Mali is a country, Mali is a sovereign country, and we base our decision on that. When we make our decision, if other countries comes in Mali, they're invited, they're guests. But those guests cannot decide when you visit my house, where you want to sit.
And and this is the part of the interview I wanted to get to. Yeah, you can visit Africa, yes, but you're not running anything over here. Even if you do have capital, like you can't decide that this is this is how it's going to go down. You can't do that in Africa. As he said, you don't decide where you want to sit, in a sovereign country just because you come from America. It doesn't work like that. Okay. It really doesn't. So, yeah, miss us with that shit.
What I should be eating, who I should be receiving in my house.
Exactly. And that's another thing that happens too. It's like they try to impose like these kind of woke ass veganisms on us sometimes. Oh, Africans were never eating meat or something like that. This is crazy. But let's continue.
But they're all welcome if they respect that when you come to somebody's place, you need also to respect this rule. When I'm in the United States, I will not question the relationship of the United States with the other countries. They make it based on their own interests and their own consideration. Of course, we have values, and Mali, once again, is mindful of his commitment to human rights conventions, but also we have a history. We remind people the respect for human rights. We are not taking it from the current international convention. Mali is an ancient civilization.
And that's what these modern women don't realize is that, Africa, we have ancient civilization. Although, we were colonized, although we did go through the brunt of colonization, there's some things that still are in place that are ancient.
During in the medieval era, in 1236, Mali under the Empire of Mali under Sunjata Keita has adopted a constitution
Hmm.
before many modern constitution, which is the constitution of Kuru Kamfuga. And one of the key principles of that constitution is the respect for human being, the respect for human life. We still remain committed to that. And we want to make sure that whenever a situation happens in the field, that our military also account if there are any deviation, like in any army. In the field, U.S. Army or French Army in some situation have also commit human rights abuses, but just to make sure that there is the investigation, the justice system to address those. But there is no there is no decision from the government to say we want to target a specific ethnic group.
So, this brother just laid it down, and that's like how these women say the universe. That's like a universal law. Like, you're not gonna come into someone's house and dictate like what that person does in their house, which they think they are. Okay.
While they were out and about, some trends that are beginning to emerge from the small West African nation. Now, the couple, the arrivals, recently were robbed while they were out and about. Their home was completely rubbished. Apparently, the robbers took laptops, computers, things that the couple used to make YouTube videos, and jewelry and other things that can't be replaced. So, of course, my thoughts go out to them, particularly welcome in the Gambia, which is that Black Americans are not particularly welcome in the Gambia. Now, do all Gambians feel this way? Of course not. I'm sure there are many Gambians who have open arms and open hearts, but those who ignore this criminal element do so at their own peril, because what's happening is this criminal element is picking off diasporans one by one.
Um, I wouldn't call it picking off diasporans. I would call it doing a lot's work because, like, the thing is, these diasporans, I don't think are really going to bring value. So this is why, we see this happening. I mean, I think this is why Allah is allowing it to happen because if Allah wanted to, he can like put a stop to it right away, but he hasn't done so. So there's a spiritual element that maybe people aren't seeing, but I hate to say it, but that spiritual element is always going to be there. I'm just going to be honest with you, it's always there. But let's continue what she's saying.
And the more naive you are, the better for them because you never see them coming. Now, we know there's a criminal element, but here's what you might not know. There is a growing underbelly that is specifically coming together in Gambia to wage war on the Black Americans that are coming there. The Black Americans are being seen as foreigners that are looking to usurp and take land that doesn't belong to them.
So again, this goes back to my point, that I hate to say it, but a lot of Africans may have PTSD because as bad as this sounds, yeah, when British took over Nigeria, for example, they didn't use hardly any Anglo troops. The majority of troops they used were conscripted Africans. Okay. When our lovely Amilcar Cabral, Augustine Nieto, Samora Machel, Eduardo Madeleine, Marcelino dos Santos, when they were fighting colonial wars, okay, they weren't really fighting that many white Portuguese. They were fighting other Africans who were conscripted by the Portuguese. Therefore, there may be a sense of PTSD, like, oh crap, here we go again. Dang, my parents went through this, now I'm going through this. That's the problem. But let's continue.
That are looking to get land for free or on the cheap, land that has been denied to local Gambians who don't have the money. And people are really underestimating the resentment and the anger that locals feel when they see you coming from abroad buying up land that belonged to their grandma, buying up land that belonged to their auntie, buying up land that belonged to their great great grandfather. Here's the bottom line: they don't think you deserve it. Yes, that's the truth. They don't think you deserve it. And therefore, they are making sure that they do everything possible to make you feel unwelcome.
Now, granted, this video was actually 3 years ago. This is pretty telling. But give me maybe like 10 minutes. I gotta go do something. I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. But I'm gonna wrap this up soon. But let's look into let's continue.
And unsafe. And I would say right now, they are 1 and 0. If this were a football game, they'd be many yards touchdowning as opposed to Black Americans because Black Americans have refused to be honest about this criminal element. And it is making couples like the arrival and others very vulnerable. Now, let's talk a little bit more about why it would benefit the criminal element to target Black Americans. Number one, it's an easy target. In any country, whenever you want to look at a target, think of the Wolof, we can think of the Mandinka. Off the top of my head, we can think of the Wolof, we can think of the Mandinka, we can think of the Fulbe or the Fulani, and so many more. So, in this instance, your black skin does not make you their brother. If they don't see the Mandinka man who has been living there for hundreds and thousands of years as their brother, why would they see you, Johnny Bluebank from America, as their brother?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I it's it's a reality, but hopefully we look past that reality soon. And I think we're on the right track to do so. But yes, that is true. That is true.
Just ask yourself, you're their brother temporarily. You're no more a brother to them than the Chinese or the European. So, what is the solution here? I'm so glad.
So again, she said something very telling. There's this misconception that like that we bootlick like the Chinese man, the European man. But if you're not, if you, here's the thing. When COVID happened, yeah. So when the COVID happened, right? What happened was um that I believe Guinea kicked out the Chinese, you know, who were there. And because of what the Chinese were doing in regards to this COVID thing. Now, I think Guinea did kick out Chinese, you know. I can't find it though. Let me see if I can. But there's this notion that we like kiss butt or something, you know. But I don't know if I can find it. But yeah, they were kicking out the Chinese of Guinea Conakry when that was happening. Okay. But um there's something else I want to say too. This Pan-Africanism jig is the jig is up. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you why it's up. Because you have jokers like this saying shit like this. Okay. So you have him saying this stupid things and going 4 hours saying Islam extremists will take West Africa, East Africa is our only hope. Little does he know the honorable Ibrahim Traore, the honorable Assimi Goita is putting them um is putting them in their place right now. And there's plenty of videos to show that they're putting them in this place, you know. So when you have these guys who claim, that have these pan-African mindset, it's very dumb. It's very dumb. Okay. It's very goofy. Now, this guy is just doing it for ish and giggles, right? That's pretty much it. But he's just like goofy to me. You know, if you look, if you there's a video that there was a video that shows that the Burkina Faso's were carrying out, you know, operations, you know. Don't let this fool you where it says how coups are derailing the war on terror on Africa. What that really translates to is how coups are keeping the United States from stealing. That's what that translates to. The war on terror is stealing. The war on stealing. But I can't find the video where it shows that Ibrahim Traore was actually taking care of the terrorists. Now, the thing is too, he has decided, Ibrahim Traore has decided to um um he has even said that security is the number one priority, because it's true. It's better to have security and then have elections than basically have elections with no security. Okay. So again, Pan African strikes back. He needs to shut up. Has no idea what he's talking about. Okay. I think last month. Yeah, 3 months ago. What happened? Mali get Kidal back from these extremists. Okay. So again, they're it's bullocks, what they say. It's very much bullocks. Okay. It's a bullocks. But I mean, that's all I got. I just wanted to come on here. I just wanted to come on here just a little bit. Maybe the next video will go back to my original topic. But again, it just goes to show you that, these deletions aren't for a reason. Okay, they're not just like random deletions. But anyhow, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you guys want a live stream on. There was someone in the audience. I don't know who that is, so that's why I didn't put him on. Um, that's why I didn't put him on here, because I don't even know who this is. Okay. Maybe the next time he come, I can have him on. I'm open to having people on here. Shout outs to my guy Shishay, very good brother. Shout outs to his people, Eritreans, very good people, very noble people. Um, very fighting people. Shout outs to them. And yeah, but with that being said, I'm signing out. Njarama.